Welcome to Fridge Fun Facts. I'm your local undergraduate historian. Basically what that means is I'm struggling. I'm your local undergraduate historian. And today we're going to be talking about something. Wait a minute. What's that? Something's coming out of my fridge. Something's making a noise. What's that? What? I was about to... You're going to interrupt me? Oh, it's a dog. It's what we're going to be talking about today. We have a lot of fun things about dogs. Dogs are commonly known as man's best friend. There's another one. What? Dogs are commonly known as man's best friend. I don't know the full history of dogs, but what I'm here to talk about today, the history of dogs' involvement in warfare since World War I. We all love dogs. Well, most of us do. I am a dog person. I love dogs. Clearly, I just pulled two of them out of my fridge. They're not real. This one's a stuffed. This one's a ceramic. Hopefully that was obvious. But the main gist is, dogs play a really vital role in the human experience. I personally have 3 dogs at home. I have Gracie, who's a Siberian Husky. I have Gypsy, who's another Siberian Husky. They're both female. I have a little stinker named Poops. He's a French Bulldog. He's cute and cuddly. My dog Poops, who's a Frenchie, ties right into the first dog I want to talk about in this video. Mutt, the cigarette deliverer. He was a Frenchie involved in World War I. He obviously delivered cigarettes to soldiers on the front line, but he rode with the American 11th Engineers, who were the first U.S. soldiers to see combat in World War I. We don't really know where they ran into him, but they picked him up along the way, and he was there with them all the way through. He got injured twice in combat, recovered, and continued to help soldiers. Obviously, as his title says, he delivered cigarettes to soldiers, and a really vital role that I think is more important what he played is he helped alleviate soldiers' mental state during the war, because obviously World War I was a really rough war, especially coming into it for the US soldiers. They had no idea what they were expecting, and they came in and they had this little dog, much like Poops. I'll provide some pictures here. But after the war, it was really interesting. After the war, they snuck him on board, the 11th Engineers snuck him on board their ship, and eventually they were caught. It was smuggling a dog, and they said they had to throw the dog overboard, but a soldier said, if you're going to throw that dog overboard, you're going to have to throw me over too. Which I thought was really cool. Obviously that dog played huge impact in them, played a huge role in helping them probably get through the war. He ended up making it all the way back to the US and lived out his little doggy life with them. But another big dog that played a huge part was Sergeant Stubby. Sergeant Stubby is the most decorated war dog in history. He was with the US through World War I, again another World War I dog. And as I said, he's the most decorated war dog in history, which I think is very interesting. He played a vital role in combat and, again, stress relief from the war and mental state, alleviate that. And he's a bull terrier. I'll provide some pictures here. I think he's interesting. I thought it was crazy. He's small. Warned soldiers when gas attacks were near, as that was a big thing in World War I. And he even has his own movie, which I thought was crazy. It came out April 2018. I haven't seen it. I plan to. I think it's really cool. And again, like dogs, just I think especially for Allied and Axis powers, dogs played a big part in attacking other people. Obviously, combat roles. The bigger dogs like German Shepherds played a big part in attacking, in gas attacks, and bomb sniffing. But I just wanted this video is to focus on specific dogs throughout history. As we've shown before, dogs do typically play a big role in war, especially in World War I. Now, another key dog that I think was really interesting, took a key place in World War II. His name was Rob. I think he was a collie. I'll provide some pictures here. He was a big part in the North African campaign. He's from Britain. He was with the British, and he performed over 20 parachute descents with soldiers, which I thought was crazy. Rob was part of the Special Air Force in Britain, and he was awarded the Dickin Medal for his service. Another big dog who served in World War II, his name was Chips. He was a German Shepherd Husky mix, who's the most decorated dog in World War II. Chips saw action in Germany, France, North Africa, and Italy. It is said that one of the most heroic stories of him was whenever he took out an Italian machine gun nest and captured over 10 soldiers on his own. That is crazy. The dog was awarded a Distinguished Service Cross, a Purple Heart, and a Silver Star. The sad reality is, military service at the time didn't award animals, so those were revoked, which is kind of unfair considering he's, you know, a big hero, but what can we do? The last dog I'm going to mention here is Smokey. She was a Yorkshire Terrier who saw action in World War II in the Pacific Campaign. Sad thing is, in 1944, she was abandoned in a foxhole in New Guinea, and then again at some point she was picked up and saw and survived over 150 air raids. Now, one of the most infamous stories about Smokey was whenever Smokey, in a crucial air raid, some soldiers, you know, they're under fire, and Smokey was pulling telegraph lines through 70-foot pipes, helping keep communications on for the United States and the Allied powers fighting against Japan, which I think is really cool, crazy. Smokey, she shares a lot of similarities to Stubby because it helped in a lot of, obviously in combat roles, even though it's just a little dog, you know, only being a Yorkshire Terrier is pretty small. Smokey entertained soldiers and helped alleviate stress, obviously. She knew a lot of tricks. She could, you know, dance or do fun little things, and that helped soldiers go a long way. She lived to be 14 years old and died in 1957. Now we're going to skip forward a little bit and talk about animals in the Vietnam War, which, again, you know, the dogs I'm going to mention here are bigger and play a lot more of a combat role than the dogs in World War I and World War II, as a lot of them mentioned were typically smaller, but their heroic deeds should still be mentioned. Nemo was a German Shepherd who saw action in the Vietnam War with the Allied powers. Quickly you're going to realize Nemo doesn't have an eye. You're going to ask, well, how did that happen? It obviously happened in combat. Nemo and Airman 2nd Class Bob Thornburg were guarding a cemetery near a base and then quickly came under enemy fire from a guerrilla warfare attack from the Viet Cong. Nemo took a shot to the eye and, you know, obviously survived. Bob Thornburg took a shot to the shoulder, can't say that, and despite being attacked in the eye, Nemo still went on to attack the enemy, which in itself saved Thornburg's life and gave him the necessary time to call backup to help fight in this guerrilla attack. Quickly after this guerrilla attack and calling reinforcements, Thornburg passed out, and Nemo went back to guard his body and didn't let anyone near him, and it had to take a veterinarian to pull him off of Thornburg, which just goes to show you the crazy attachment, you know, humans and animals can have, which I think is really cool. Nemo and Thornburg went on to heal from their wounds, and Nemo quickly saw permanent retirement after that and went on to live the rest of his doggy life and died at 11 years old in 1972. Now, second dog to mention from the Vietnam War is Kaiser. Kaiser is another German Shepherd dog. You know, as we've been seeing, bigger dogs in Vietnam. He served in Vietnam under his handler, Marine Lance Corporal Alfredo Salazar. Kaiser and Salazar ended up doing more than 30 combat patrols and participated in 12 major operations together. What went on to happen is Kaiser and Salazar ended up joining D Company, which participated in a lot of search and destroy missions, where soldiers went into it, obviously went searching for, you know, Viet Cong, went searching into towns, Viet Cong, and went on to, you know, destroy any weapons they found, any Viet Cong they found, anything they found suspicious. Those were a lot of the missions taking place in Vietnam. And so Salazar and Kaiser were at one of these missions, and then they were ambushed by enemy forces on a mission in a patrol in 1966. So this is really early into the Vietnam War. You know, the US had kind of just been joining and just started taking place in this. Kaiser was hit in the first barrage of bullets sent back and forth, and sadly died licking his carer Salazar's hand. And he goes down as the first war dog to die in the Vietnam War, which is really sad, but I thought it was really important to mention him because he played a vital role in combat. A big point to note is that nowadays dogs play a vital role in service. And by that I mean service dogs, whether they help emotionally, help with PTSD, they go a long way helping soldiers. And I think it's really important to note this, you know, because a lot of soldiers, after their combat experience, suffer from PTSD. It's more of a newer thing should have been mentioned, should have been a thing talked about a long time ago, but it wasn't. And I'm gonna provide some links here if you want to donate to help service animals and help service dogs. I'll provide some other links if there's any other research you want to do on your own, if there's anything you want to add. And you can talk to me in the comments below if you're interested in further talks about this subject. And thank you for watching.